Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. It's your business to take good care of yourself, your health. That's why we've created a series of programming with Frank Granett with the group CAOOY.org. We're working together. Combined, it's called The Price of ADHD Business. But we're talking about things a little bit beyond just ADHD and mental health in general. Pharmacist by profession, by training. Frank Granett is bringing a lot of interesting content to our program, and today is no exception. All right, we're going to have a lot of guests on today's program, so I'm going to encourage everyone to, when they're asking a question to anyone else, to mention names of who they're talking to, because there will be that pause as everyone's too polite to jump in. So I'm going to try to do my best to mention names as we go along. Frank, jump right in with just a brief discussion of CAOOY and what you and I are doing with the Price of ADHD Business, and then introduce our guest today.
Yeah, it's great to be on again, Kevin. And our alliance is helping families across the country, and CAOOY is Coalition Against Over-Medicating Our Youth. We believe in prudent assessments before we go into drug therapy, especially in our young child population. And today, a tremendous twosome, actually. We have Dave Sanders and Julie Lamphier. They are owners of the Brain Life Center in Clarkston, Michigan. And today's topic is going to be about brainwave optimization. And the technology, in my opinion, is revolutionary. It's changing lives every week. And they have many testimonials to prove this. And Dave and Julie, welcome to our program.
Thank you. Hello, Frank.
Thank you very much. We're happy to be here.
Glad to have you on the program. Real quickly, let's just start off with kind of a brief elevator speech of what it's all about. Julie, go right ahead. Tell us about your practice.
Okay, brainwave optimization. What we do here is we use EEG equipment, very sensitive EEG equipment, to read the frequencies of the brain, and we turn those frequencies then into musical tones that the client listens to live. They're in a very comfortable chair. It's a passive process. They listen to their own brain live, and that is like holding a mirror up to the brain so the brain can see itself. And where there is imbalances causing these symptoms, the brain then will correct itself. So we're really relying on the brain's own ability to heal itself.
Very good.
Dave, as far as this technology, and many of our listeners out there, especially with young children, is this type of technology, how low can we go on the age scale as far as using this? Because it is a non-invasive type of assessment.
Well, we've personally worked with somebody as young as 3, and the real key is we place these little sensors on the head. If we can have them sit still for little 8-minute increments, and then we give them a little break, if we can just have them sit still, we can go as low as is allowed, because it's a passive experience. I mean, it literally is a mirror that's very high def for the brain to see itself within specific imbalances. And we have found, after about 60,000 clients, that these imbalances, which are very measurable, actually are pointing to the problems that they're dealing with, like ADHD and ADD.
Julie, let me ask you, tell us about the history of the technology and the development and what drove it.
There's a gentleman named Lee Gertis who was actually assaulted with bats and had a brain injury. And he got very busy trying to find some solution for himself. And he did all kinds of therapies and ended up in neurofeedback. And he did get some results from neurofeedback, but felt that there was more to be done. And so he started to pursue this work. And what he discovered is that if we show the brain itself, and instead of manipulating the brain and trying to move it into a standard brain, we allow the brain to make its own decisions, it's much more efficient, and the brain will actually took him so much further that he opened this business and has helped over 55,000 people worldwide.
Frank, your question?
Yeah, Kevin, the thing is with neurofeedback, and Julie brought up a good point, the FDA approved neurofeedback as an assessment to pretty much diagnose ADHD specifically. But Julie, don't you feel this can encompass all neurobehavioral problems? We're talking about, like depression, anxiety. So it could be great fit for like that corporation or small business even that's wanting to do a health and fitness wellness type of program.
Absolutely. In fact, we've had the opportunity to experience that in our own office. Every employee in our office has been through this process. So when you have people walking around with optimal brains, you get higher productivity, better focus. The relationship between one another is much better. Imagine people's regulatory systems settle down. They're not on edge. Anxiety is reduced. So really, an optimal brain just helps your entire life.
Let me ask David real quickly, what kind of credentials do Julie and you have?
Well, we're actually certified through we're what's called a Master's Level 4, and it's training that takes place in Arizona initially, and then it's ongoing training. So our office, it's one of the largest in the state, and it's actually, we've done over 1,000 clients ourselves. So a lot of the ability to get to a higher level is a result of doing lots and lots of clients and really getting that practice.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, Dave, give us that taste or feel, for that parent or that business that's, really wanting to get somebody on the right track. They've been through everything. They've been through the whole 9 yards. What is your best success story? Can you relate to, one that stands out?
Well, I tell you, there are so many. And in thinking about this question, one that comes to mind for me is a young man who actually had to drive about 2.5 hours to get to our office. He was referred to us by his mother. His mother had dealt with depression for years and was on pretty heavy meds when she came to us. She got great results. We don't know if it's genetic or not, but we know that her son was dealing with the same thing since he was very young. He ends up going through the same thing, gets off the medications, and the most amazing thing about it was he told me about 3 weeks after I did a little follow-up call, and I wanted to see how he was doing, and he told me that he had actually been experiencing thoughts of suicide since he was 6 years old. And this is a man that when he was in his late 30s, he had children, he had somehow managed to work through this. But these suicidal thoughts, the feelings of depression, they went away. And so for him, it was just a radical transformation.
Wow, that is incredible. That's amazing. What made you go down this course, Julie? What made you think that this is the way to go? What were some leaders, if you will?
Well, I had a friend who went through the process, and I got to witness a change in her life. And she wanted to open the business 6 years ago and asked me to run it. And I said yes. But what really put me on this path long term, I ended up buying the business from her 2 years later, is that one of our first clients was my own son, who was 19 years old. He'd been diagnosed with ADD, and he had gone through high school okay, but then he bombed out of college. He had tried meds, but the meds gave him all kinds of other problems. So he couldn't use the meds, but yet he couldn't focus and get to be a high-functioning young man. Great moral decisions in his life, but just couldn't get that area working. And that's when I was introduced to this. So he was one of my first clients. And I saw his life take a very sharp turn. He went from a wonderful, ineffective man to a wonderful, effective man. And now he went back to school, got his college degree, is getting married, totally changed the direction of his life. So that is when I became very passionate and decided I need to share this with as many people as I can.
I need to get some websites. First of all, let's start with you, Frank. How do we learn more information about the work you and I are doing?
Go to caooy.org, and actually you can preview the DVD. It's an educational DVD, and it tells about brainwave optimization, and what Dave and Julie are doing is fantastic.
Awesome. And Dave, wrap up with your website where people can learn more.
We are brainlifecenter.com, brainlifecenter.com.
And do people come from around the country to use your center, or is it something that's primarily in the Michigan region? Or tell us real quickly with about 30 seconds left on that.
Mostly local, but we do have a lot of people coming in from Canada. We've had people from out of state. We even have a travel chair where we've flown into areas to help people, whether it be a business, whether it be an individual. We can fly in with the equipment and actually set up and help those people.
Thanks to all of you. Great segment. I appreciate it very much. I'm Kevin Price. You are listening to The Price of Business. Best content here. It shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. While there, like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter.